and off we go. Okay, Kevin, why don't you take over?
All right. Good evening, everybody. We're on tonight just to talk a little bit about upcoming events, and we have a guest tonight. It is my cousin. His name is Brian Azevedo. He is the man in charge of the Salute to American Graffiti in Petaluma, California. And if you have never made it to this event, it's an awesome event. They take over Petaluma. It's a great event. I've been there before. If you haven't been there, I highly suggest going. He also does a lot of other things for the community. Him and my uncle Art Azevedo are huge in Petaluma. Everyone knows them, well known. A&A Automotive. They know everyone. They know everything. They have a great automobile business to as far as restorations. So anything you need to know, these are the guys to go to. So hit them up. But I got Brian on tonight because he wants to talk a little bit about Eventbrite, and we're looking to do improvements on our registration. And Brian has been nice enough to come on tonight and talk about what we can do to improve on that. And he's also brought his registration person in with him tonight. So Brian, if you could introduce yourself and maybe introduce your registration person and give us a little insight where we're going, that would be awesome.
Well, to follow up that oversell on your behalf, I appreciate it. But
no worries. No worries.
I'm President Cruising the Boulevard. We have Brianna on the line as well. She's registration, website, computer, you name it. She's kind of the go-to. I get too much credit with coming up with ideas, and she's the poor one that has to figure out how to make it work. So we switched. For those of you who don't know, the film American Graffiti was filmed in Petaluma, so we do a big fundraiser show every year. It's our biggest fundraiser, where we shut down downtown Petaluma where the film was filmed. And the board that was before us always had a problem. It was hand registration. You send out registration packets, they fill it out, they mail you a check, this and that. And it just got to be a headache. It's a lot of legwork, like I'm sure you guys are used to. So we came up with a way here. I think this is our coming into our third season of doing this with all our events, to where we have it through Eventbrite. Basically, they go online. I'll give you the quick gist. Once registration opens, you can set what time, what date it opens, prices. I don't know if you guys have gone over, different parking areas. We break our show down to where, depending on where on the boulevard and where in our show you're going to park, is how you sign up. And for us, that works twofold. We have two parking crews we run at one time, and you sign up for either group blue or red. We color code them. And with Eventbrite, you can say, I got 70 spots. They're going to be, between street A and B, say. And you can do different pricing if you want. You can do them all at the same price. It just helps you keep track of, how many cars are coming, what they are, and it live time goes right to your phones. So once Brianna opens up registration, as people sign up, we see it as they're doing it. We have an accurate car count. We have your name, your email address, your license plate, everything is preloaded to our phones. And then as soon as the cars come in on show day, we actually send out QR codes in an email ahead of time. As the cars come into our registration, we can scan the QR code and say, yes, this is Kevin. This is the car that's registered to be here. He is prepaid. You don't have to worry about somebody bringing a car in that's not registered, all in live timing. And as you scan the car in, our phones, our computers all know how many cars are checked in. So on show day, say we have 800 cars registered for the show, 775 of them showed up, because we always tend to have a bleed off. Somebody's car doesn't start that day or whatnot. Wedding, didn't check with his wife before he made our ticket sales and stuff. We live know. We know, okay, these guys are here, those are here, how many parking spots we took. And it's just a simpler way to keep track of everything. And for us,
Can I jump in
Yep.
for a second?
Dude,
I'm assuming that with your show, you have a lot of young people or 40, 50-year-olds. But when we're dealing with our car shows, we're dealing with 70 and 80-year-olds. And yeah, she's shaking her head. She knows. And I'm telling
we
you,
have the same
and
problem.
well, you know, because a lot of these guys, even if we try this, they're not going to know what to do, or they might not want to do it because they're not tech savvy. So what do you do about that?
We normally through our website offer as much help as we can. So I mean, we have certain car clubs. Pacers is one that sticks out in my mind. They're one of California's oldest car clubs. I think the youngest member is 75, and there's only a handful of them left. They don't have an email address. They don't. So most of them will get their grandkids or their kids to register for them. I have, and everybody on our board laughs at me because like I don't have enough else to do. I probably register 60 cars myself. We have it set up to where guys come into our shop and I know who they are. They're customers. They're, good old local boys. And they walk in with their $65 and I know what they have. And I say, okay, have a great day. And when I go home at night, I have a list and I log on just like I'm entering the show and I register it myself. Granted, that's going to make more for you.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a business, a car business of some sort.
Yeah, we have a shop in Petaluma.
Okay, so you have customers, you know who they are, but we're talking about people that we don't know, and we
totally
and especially if they have many cars, you don't know which one they're going to want to bring.
Well, no,
they email us if they're not a customer. They email us, hey, I want to register. I don't, have somebody who can do it. And Brianna's really good on our website about answering back right away to where we can help walk them through it. But I register people too that they're not customers. They're just, we have cars entered from across the country. We have people, I think we had 4 or 5 countries this year show up. Wow. So there's a lot of people we don't know. And every now and then they will email us on the website once registration opens. And if you send me an email with your name, your number, and all that stuff, we'll enter the car for you. I mean, it's definitely a learning process. You had to remember this is going to be, I think, year 19 for us. This is the second year that I've been president and Brianna has. The two of us basically took 17 years of doing this show and threw it away and started over from the way we park, our parking crews work to registration. So I agree. You're thinking the same problem we had. Some of these people just don't understand and can't. So there is a little bit of hand holding you're going to have to do, especially the first couple of years. But to where that is a pain in our butt, it is also great because I can literally go back right now and type somebody's name in and I can look at everybody who's registered for our show the past 3 years that we've done it this way. 4 years. 4 years. So, I can type in your last name and your license plate, your email address, whether you showed up, or all comes onto my cell phone.
If they don't have an email or anything and no technology, they just mail in a form with a check, or
we don't do that anymore. That's how it used to be.
So
you can handle it that way.
You can do it that way. We don't. We realistically this year we have 2 big display trailers. One is our registration trailer, and one is our DJ booth. And Brianna was actually registering cars the day of. We had people coming in and say, hey, I was on the wait list or whatever. And she typed their information into our computer, printed out their window sticker. All our window tags are digital. And we were registering cars at 6:30 that morning. We start parking at 6 a.m.
And that's what we get.
Doing it this way with our parking crew, we started parking, I think 6:05, the first car got parked. And we had damn near 700 cars parked by 9 o'clock.
Yeah, so if they don't have technology, they can still come to the show and pay and get in the show.
See,
you know how you set it up, that's
See, here's the thing is that at least in our area and how old they are, when we've gone out to pass out registration forms, we have been told, well, I'll try to make it that day, but I don't know if I'm going to be around. And you can take that as far as you like to take that, because they are thinking they might not be alive.
Well, and a lot of that does too. Like, we have a problem, and I don't know how your guys' numbers were. You can plan on registering cars the day of, providing you have room. And we only, and that's why Eventbrite is so important with us, is we can monitor as we're parking, because we do it by color code, and our color code has a time zone. If you're in what we call red and blue, which is the first ones, you're supposed to be at registration between 6 and 7 a.m. Well, our next two colors come in between 7 and 8 a.m. So now technically by 7 o'clock, my two parking leads have moved from the first two colors and went to the seconds. Brianna in live time has that information on my phone, and I go, shit, we already have 23 cars that aren't here. So that means I can take 23 cars as of right now that aren't registered and backfill our show. And that's important to us because we sell out. Like, we put out, hey, I have 700 spots. We open at, our registration opens at midnight on a Sunday night. And yeah, those are our, that's how we see the percentage of what's sold out.
Brian, question for you. So when you went from the old way you did it to the new way with Eventbrite, did you see any drop off in registration?
No, we went up, but at the same time, we went up because we changed registration in the whole show at the same time. So we added more spots. So our registration could only go up. I mean, we have kind of a cult following with the movie, which is weird. We literally start registration at midnight on a Sunday, and at 12:05 we already had like 30 spots sold. So there's people literally at midnight sitting waiting to hit the enter button, trying to get on blue, because that's the main drag where the drag race scene was filmed. And so I think, what was it, Bree? We, in almost a week, we had everything sold out this year. I mean, she'd have 11 days we sold out the whole show.
God dang.
So,
and how many you have? 700?
700.
We did what, 750, I think, was our first initial opening. And then, like I said, we registered 20 something cars after that, I believe.
Yeah, but let me talk about a few things, because there are a few things that we've jumped over, and I want to make sure that you guys feel confident in this. So when we started when we started out with registration, we did the quick, one ticket for all of our cars, and that worked out okay. Then but with our new way that we're bringing cars in, you can't bring 600-700 cars in through your queue at the same time. It backs up traffic. It's just a cluster. So we introduced zones to break up the number of cars that are coming to our queue for check-in at any given time, so that we could kind of control traffic. So that was the advantage of breaking into our zones. The other thing that Eventbrite let us do that you don't get with paper registration is, let's say you get the husband that accidentally booked a car show when he's supposed to be at a wedding, and the wife's like, nope, time out, you need to cancel. You can backfill that ticket. So we went from 20% no-show in our show, where we have big gaps in our parking, to, I want to say we're probably around 8% no-show, and I can still fill in that day. And so we don't have big gaps in our show with where you would park cars. You're getting the maximum amount of people in that you possibly can. Now, there's still cars that are going to break down. There's still people that aren't going to show up. The other thing that Eventbrite lets you do, that's really a big plus for us since we're electronic, is you have multiple cars. You're bringing the Camaro, but then the Camaro's engine blows, and so you have to bring, a Corvette or something like that. It's easy to switch out that vehicle and not mess up your tickets, and you don't have a whole lot of penmanship at the end. Now, if anybody's here that is the treasurer that has to keep track of all of the banking, Eventbrite lends itself really well for all of your taxation. And so your fees, how much you're spending on each ticket, if you have to set things into different buckets, Eventbrite's really good for giving you a readout for how you've broken all of that down as well.
How many zones you got, Brianna?
Um,
The computer?
Parking?
2, 4, 6, 7.
And it's broken down by, how is it broken down? Because you're on, I'm assuming you're on the street.
We don't care.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Actually, if you let me share my screen, I'm more than happy to
Yes,
walk you through what that looks like.
Do you have
Yeah.
one?
You're
Yeah,
at-
one of our-
Keep in mind, Dennis, this is a whole town of Petaluma.
yeah, I'm just wondering. That's all.
I mean, this sounds really good for Genoa show for the parking thing,
We don't,
but,
Yeah.
we don't care.
but it's too late now.
Yeah, if you give me permissions to share, I'm happy to walk you through what
Well,
that
I'm gonna have to get my wife to do that because I don't know how to do
Oh,
that.
he has to do it. I'm glad Brianna started talking. I thought she only knew how to do sign language.
No, not me. Let me go get my wife. She may be able to
I
do
got
that.
I got lots to dance in hand. Well, while he's getting that permission set or getting that fixed out, the other thing that you asked about is, can you do handwritten registration? The answer is yes. So generally what we've done is we've listed out all of our tickets online and they're available to purchase. So if anybody's tech savvy, they can go in and buy tickets the normal way. If you're collecting tickets in person, Eventbrite is really good about, if you've collected cash, you can still keep the record in their system and not pay the fees. So
Hey,
the
Brianna, this is Mary Lee. Maybe you can tell her how to share. It'll have you a host.
Post tools? No.
you're going to want to allow anyone to share.
Okay, let's see. Oh, that's not it. I don't know where that's at. I'm sorry.
This is why I have her.
Well, here, you know what I'll do? I will put this in the chat and you all can look at this later.
We're not seeing, is a host, try the host tools right there.
I did.
Oh.
So I'll drop the chat in the chat, I've dropped a link and this will take you to what our event looks like. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, this is the actual Eventbrite event. There's a map and we have
Maybe
two
that
maps.
worked. I did multiple multiple participants can share.
Yeah,
Okay, so you might be able to share it now.
perfect. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you. There you go.
Mary Lee, you're awesome.
Shut up, Rory. Shut up, Alan.
Get the names right. You can't even talk.
Well, Rory's next.
All right. Y'all seeing my screen now? You should have a big map
Yeah.
in the middle of it.
Don't leave.
All right, perfect. Okay, so we have this is D Street here and then Petaluma Boulevard. If you can see my map, we have everybody come in, check in through the orange zone 3. Our arrival times are blue and red. They come in right at the start of the show and they come into the back side of the show, the furthest point away from our check-in. So we start funneling cars in. Like Brian said, we have 2 different parking crews. One's on Petaluma Boulevard 1, the other one's on Kentucky Street here. And so they start parking those cars. Once they've finished, I have a 15-minute buffer between the time my green zone comes in. So then if I can kind of figure out how many cars I'm missing. Now, because this is set up as arrival times and we highlight that it's an arrival time, we can shuffle cars into our blue and red zone if there's openings. So we're constantly filling in cars. So we don't have any gaps in any of our big spaces. And then you have our cruise map here. So if we were to back out a little bit of where we are in the city, it's this main part right here is where this is at.
So if you have somebody that's supposed to be there at 6 and he doesn't get there till 7, does that create a problem?
No, the nice thing is that we park them with the group that's being parked. So if we have like 5 openings in blue, and we've taken our 15-minute break between cars, that's kind of a little extra buffer for people to arrive. I will tell you that most people are there early, right there on time. There's not much of a delay. We actually usually have kind of a quiet time in the queue for that time between zones. So
how much of a problem do you have with somebody that's supposed to be there at 8 and shows up at 6?
Not very much now. The first year we had a few problems, but what we did is on our queue, we have four lanes of traffic that we have coming in, and we just have, or it's 5. We have 1 lane that's kind of set up to be spun off and back out. So if they've come in and they're not supposed to be in during that time, we kick them back out to re-queue up during their time zone.
Okay.
And what this made us happen is the way the old board did it in the old parking crew, we had like 6 crews. So they were each designated a street. Well, when cars don't show up, now you're walking through to where we're trying to do all these city blocks, and you have a gap of 4 cars in between your parking zones, and it just doesn't look good.
Right.
So by us doing it this way, if 3 blues don't show up, my parking crew sitting there going, all right, Brianna said we're done with the first 2, and we still have spots. When green shows up, who's the next color, the first 3 greens are now your last 3 blues.
I
So
see.
realistically, 100 cars cannot show up at our event. And if they don't show up, the last block just doesn't get parked.
Understood.
We know
yeah.
that. We know that, but you walking around has no
Right.
freaking
No
idea.
clue.
And you went, holy shit, they got every single spot parked. There ain't a gap anywhere. And you look 10 times smarter. Because
Right.
we used to, it was just, it's so hard not to know who's coming. And by selling spots and doing it this way, you can backfeed, and it just makes the show look nicer. It makes parking go better. And she's in control of everything. I mean, as long as you have a cell phone, our board members, we have 4 or 5 that will have Eventbrite on their cell phone. And you can literally we have some clubs that we bring in separately. We have 2 big local clubs. They're nonprofits. They each bring about 24 cars, and they're in special designated lots. Well, so that it doesn't hinder parking, I can make a side deal with the president and be like, hey, you guys are going to meet on this back road at 7:00. I'm going to bring you in personally the back way. And then as they pull in on my cell phone, I can open up the Eventbrite app and look at the car and hit here, and I can manually check them in. So now Brianna's registration team just had 60 cars roll in that they didn't have to check in. The parking crew didn't have to do them. And because we're digital, me by myself bringing those guys in, I can go through my phone and check them all in, and it counts with her computer where she's at.
And when you're checking cars in and the other crews are checking cars in, that's simultaneously.
Yep.
Okay.
Everything at one time. Our parking crew works while our check-in crew works, and Eventbrite will do all 3 variations of that all at the same time. And then instantly, as soon as you're done, you can hit print and know every car that is on your grounds and know every car that paid that didn't show up instantly.
The other advantage there is you also have all of their information. So let's say if
Yeah.
you have a car illegally parked or in the wrong spot, instead of calling your tow truck right away, you can look them up in your Eventbrite app, find them by license plate if you want to, and then give them
Yeah, and because we're on a city street, we have rules with the city. We own downtown. Our trailers roll in to start setting up. We're there at 3 a.m. And this is the 3rd day of our event. I mean, we have a dinner on a Thursday night. We have a show at a different location in Petaluma that Friday night. Then Saturday is the main show. We roll in about 3 a.m. We take over downtown at 5 a.m. We have to have it given back to the city by 8. So our cruise starts at 4:30. We don't know necessarily when it's going to end. So the key with Eventbrite is, like Brianna said, we tell everybody at the end of the cruise, you don't park at a 45-degree angle. You have to find a parking spot that's legal by the sidewalk. That way, if you go into the bar, you go have dinner, all of a sudden, yeah, we have flyers that get sent out with all those rules.
Yep.
Now, if I go, hey, Bree, I'm done. We're getting ready to pack up our trailers and turn everything over to the city. And she goes, you got a car on D Street that's parked sideways. I can instantly go up there with my phone, type in the license plate number. I now have that guy's email address and his cell phone number. I can call him and be like, hey, you got 20 minutes. The cops are coming.
Damn.
And we did this year where we had a couple guys that didn't follow the rules come cruise time. And we actually had a car that we thought was going to screw us up with downtown Petaluma that did a big burnout, outran the cops. He actually was doing 90 through town. Ooh. And the police department was trying to catch him and they couldn't. And I get called into downtown the next week with the mayor's office and the head of the police department. And they're like, we had this issue, and they know what the car was. They just don't know who he is. And I instantly my phone and be like, he wasn't one of ours. Here's my complete list. That car was not entered in our show. So it got us out of it. They understood it was just somebody who tried to. We get it every now and then. Guys will show up late. They'll hide in a street that's open. They'll wait for the crews to come by, and they'll try to blend in with our crews. Now, we're really good about it. We set up what's called a queue, and we have a special tag in the window that says you're entered in our show. If you come through this one spot at the cruise and you don't have that tag, we kick you out. But it still keeps, there's still guys trying to do it. And that's what this gentleman was. And luckily I could sit there and look at the police chief and be like, here's my phone, hit print. Here's a list of every car we had. That guy wasn't part of it. And we actually had one that they were looking for. And he told me, the cop goes, oh, he was parked on this street. And I go, okay, well, that's green zone. What was it? It was a 55 Chevy that was red with a blower on it. Okay, I pulled out my phone, went to red zone. Here's a red 55 Chevy. There's only one. Here's the guy's name, his phone number, and it's all taken care of.
Wow.
It just helps you police yourself too. Obviously, if you guys are in a big parking lot or something like that, you don't have the political side we deal with shutting down a town. But still, if somebody was to do a burnout or you had somebody flip somebody off and you just wanted to know, we also have what's called our naughty list. I had two guys in the cruise that I gave them directions, and they told me to basically go pound salt. And I turned around and said, well, you're in my sandbox and you listen to what I say. And they didn't. So, well, I got their registration. I got their license plates. They're in my show. Well, now my phone sent it to Brianna's thing. And next year when you try to register, that license plate possibly goes, sorry, you're not invited.
So you got kind of a gray list, let's say?
Yeah, we have a 1-year suspension list. If you screw us,
1 year?
1 year, yeah. Depending on, how bad it is. I mean, somebody does a burnout, it's a 1-year deal. If, you started a fight or something worse, it might be more. But it just helps you monitor all that, not just your money, but the people that are there, who's good, who's bad, who showed up. It's just a good way for you to check yourself.
Question for Brianna. Brianna, do you have a question and answer thing on the website that people, typical questions people ask and you have answers to?
Eventbrite does frequently ask questions. So the nice thing with Eventbrite that you'd be getting if you sign up with their particular platform is really, really good customer support. So you're paying a bit of a premium on your fees. But they take care of a lot of somebody can't figure out how to register. There's a lot of how to within the Eventbrite. Okay. It's a click away. So you're inside the Eventbrite bubble, so to speak, when you're doing registration. We had
what is the startup fee?
So it's free to build your stuff. Depending on the size of your event, we fall into we do the by event purchase. So we spend $50, about 49 something per event that we host. We only do one. So that's the right plan for us. And that lets us do as many tickets as we want within that particular event. And that works out pretty good. On top of that, you have a percentage fee and a credit card fee. So altogether on a $65 ticket, we're spending about $5.58 per ticket in fees and taxes. So taxes, which is, sales tax, the fees for the credit card, and then the percentage that Eventbrite gets. So it's 3 different parts. So we end up with 58 something per ticket, and that it goes up a little bit every year, just to be transparent.
So you for this one event, then you said you pay $50, let's say. You keep that all year round. Is it $50 for the whole year, or is it just for that moment in time, and then you got to come back a year later and sign up again? I mean, I would assume your database should still be there.
So all of our stuff is still there. So when we signed up, they didn't have the $50 thing to begin with, but they let you run an event for free with no $50 charge if it's like 12 or 15 people per. So like you could set up like a test account that won't charge you anything to kind of play around with it.
Yeah.
It's only when you publish an event that you actually have to pay a fee. So you can get on there, create an account, and that account is yours, and you don't pay for anything until you actually publish a large event that has more than X amount of tickets. And I think it's somewhere like 25. I'm guessing.
Does Eventbrite have like an onboarding thing or like?
Yes, there's a lot of self-help videos. And I told Brian this, if you guys decide to go with Eventbrite, I'm more than happy to sit down with the person that decides to do this and walk you through it. I will tell you that the first year is the hardest because you're learning the platform and you have to do a lot of setup. Once you're set up though, I click copy event and I recreate the event each year. And then I just iterate on what's already there.
Okay. Okay.
So once you're in and you're set up, it's great. You get another couple benefits. So you mentioned the database. Once people register, you now have their contact information. So I take and pull all the email addresses from the people that have registered. And in December, I send them a courtesy email. Hey, patrons, guess what? We're running the event again. And our patron list now is over 2,000 people. And
Wow.
so I send that blast out. And then Eventbrite also keeps track of all of my analytics. So I know how many people opened that up and how many people clicked on that email to come register for our event. So you get a lot of those built in. So you're not just getting, here's how to sell a ticket. You're getting a lot of other information along with it. So there's a lot there. I could spend a whole couple hours talking about what you can.
And the email is key too, because like this year we're changing our registration. We're changing when it opens because we've always done Sunday at midnight, and then me and Brianna are finally sitting here going, because we want to watch it. Be awake at midnight to watch the first 30 people register, which we are because luckily she catches problems every now and then, you know. And it's like, well, we could do this at noon on a Saturday when we have free time. So people are used to one thing. Well, now because Eventbrite tracks all their emails, she sends out a blast going, hey, we're going to open it in 2 weeks. But remember, this year it's at noon on Saturday. You can't say, hey, I didn't know. Well, you didn't check your email. We're really good on our website too.
Are you doing that for what reason? Are you just to attract attention?
So there's a couple things that we use the email campaign feature for. One is notification of the event. So people starting the hype up, making sure that you get registration, and like the goal is to sell out, right? You want to sell all your tickets. So getting the hype up early, that's why we do it in December. But also we do want to sell out. So we do sell out in a couple weeks, and that's part of your email campaigns. The second thing that we use email campaigns for is because we have zones, I send a unique email for each car zone, reminding them when they're supposed to come. Here's a map for check-in. This is your time. And this is the other information that you need to have. It also has what to expect on show day, what to bring, what not to bring, what's allowed, what's not allowed. And so we get some additional information there too.
Yeah,
so
perfect.
Email campaign runs a couple different things.
So how complicated is it to set up what you need to set up?
I will say
let me put it this way. I'm probably not as experienced as you at this stuff, obviously, but I dabble. So is it going to be kind of easy to do?
I will say, as long as you're patient with yourself, you'll get through it. It's
All right, so
there's no code involved.
That's not me.
I'll be.
Yeah, no, it isn't.
I will say, for platforms as robust and as big as this one is, it is really easy. They've made complicated easy. It's just big. There's a lot of pieces that you're going to have to set up. You connect your bank account because you're going to get, if you're the treasurer, guess what? You get automatic deposits into your bank account. So that's one bonus. You don't have to go to the bank with all your checks all the time.
I see Rory smiling.
There you go, Rory.
Yeah, Rory's fine. Don't have to drive to Minden.
The money's in your account when they push the button.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna, because it sounds like this might be something good for us as the inliners, because we're using this is just for membership only. Well, not a car show, just membership for Inliners International.
Well, that's another discussion.
I know, but no, I want to know if this is going to be a good thing to use to track membership of the club and excuse him. Membership of the club. We need the blast emails to the club. We need to have them try to pay online. Does this sound like a good opportunity to use maybe that for that purpose too?
Anytime you have, it's, you know, it's a really handy tool if you need something done by like a certain time. So like if you accept your memberships in January and they need to be paid up by the end of January, it's super helpful.
Okay, but ours is like whenever these people signed up, that's too complicated?
No, I mean, you can just leave it open as like, just pay when you can, but it's the design of the platform is to be for a day of event.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
you can
Okay.
definitely collect payments for something like that.
Yeah.
But there's probably some other things that I can point you to that will be a little bit better for that.
Okay.
It will also come with these features.
Okay.
Hey, Brianna and Brian, the reason why that Vicky's bringing this up, because it's not only for Nevada Car Coalition that we're talking about for our future events, but we also have this on a Facebook page that we will be presenting later, and we have 1,100 members, and it's all the car clubs in the Reno Sparks area. So it's not only information for us as a club, but it's information for all the other car clubs out there. So this is great stuff, and we appreciate you guys coming on tonight and explaining this, because it's going to help out a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah, and once you see it working, it's worth the $5 in entry you lose. Like, I don't know if you have, Bree, do you have a thing pulled up to where, like, if I had my phone and you could type in last year's show and then a last name and show them how that all just pops right up? I don't know if.
Yeah, so I just for everybody's security, I put my name in here first. So this is my family members. I'm on the order management page. You can type in using a first name, last name, phone number, anything. So it's really a robust search. And then I can see all my orders. So this is my my car entry. So I went in through the wait list so that I could see what this looks like. And I can click on my registration. This gives me the information about my ticket, who I am. And then I have all of my car information. So this isn't my real car. This is my dream car. So it's a Quebec, it's CUDA 68, and then I can get the license plate and information and the color.
Wow.
So we store all this information into the database. And like Brian said, you can search by just a person's first name or email, so on. This is in the big system. This is the computer dashboard. And then on your phone, which I kind of flashed this earlier, we can do the same type of thing. So I'm going to try and help you guys out.
Yeah.
When we check everybody in, these are all of my tickets, and you can kind of see there's a wheel here, and that tells us how many people of percentage have checked in at any given time. So shows over, most of these are 100% because everybody showed up, but a few of these, we had a few people missing. Now, in check-in, we have the ability to scan with a QR code. So anybody with a phone, you can add them on just to do scanning. You don't have to give them the whole access to your account, just to scan cars in. So that's really important because not everybody needs to see everything about everybody or how much you're making or changing tickets. So you don't always want to give that away. So you can look up my name there again. So we can search by Brianna, and we can see I have a couple different tickets there. We do our Jumpstart dinner through this as well as our cars. So we can see what type of ticket it is underneath my name. And then when I open up my waitlist approved ticket, we get my ticket information along with the car information. So when I'm checking somebody in, I scan their ticket and I say, oh, you have a purple CUDA. Great. This is the car you're supposed to show up in. And then I let them in. If they don't have the right car, I say, hold on. I see that you brought something different. You need to come see me after registration. And then I update their ticket information after I've checked everybody in. So then everybody's stuff. I have all the current stuff.
Where that helps a lot too is, like Brianna touched on, Thursday night, we have what we call a VIP dinner, which normally some of the movie stars from the movie would come into town early. and we would throw a dinner. We heavily rely on our sponsors for our money, because everything we do, we're a huge nonprofit that does scholarships, work programs for trade schools, all that stuff. So our sponsors are where we make most of our money. The ticket sales isn't our biggest income. So some of our top sponsors will get invited to this VIP dinner to have dinner with the stars and to hear kind of what the nonprofit's done this year, what we're doing with your money. We also sell tickets to it. So she can set on Eventbrite that when you go to register for Saturday's show, hey, the Jumpstart dinner has 100 tickets available. They can purchase 2 tickets for Thursday night's dinner at the same time they're buying their entry for Saturday. And in real time, I can be like, hey, we have 14 dinner tickets left for sale and 16 car spots. So we can track, even though they made one purchase, what went to the dinner, because we're selling dinner tickets. We also do a thing on there where we have an event artist who does a big elaborate painting every year. And that's our event art that does our posters, the front of we have a big booklet with all the sponsors in it and everything. We sell the art also to make money. Well, you can go on there and you can buy one of the prints of art. So everything we're doing, even if you wanted to pre-sell t-shirts, we can have that all on Eventbrite, all on one thing. And as the person's going, they go, I want 2 car entries, 69 Camaro, whatever, enter that, plus 3 dinner tickets, a large t-shirt, and whatever. And then they hit enter with their credit card. Everything's prepaid. It's right on our phones. You walk up to registration. Here's your 2 registration bags. Here's your t-shirt. Here's your 8x9 painting. Have a nice trip. Thank you guys for coming. And away they go. So, I mean, it just makes it to where you know everything at all times.
Do you use the platform by any chance for your parking marshals, let's say, in the different categories, different groups?
When the cars roll into our deal, we have obviously by color, like the map she showed you. And you sign up by what color you want to be, though. If you want to park at 9, I don't care. You're in brown. You can't be up top. As they get registered, we have little dot stickers like you see at a store. We got little blue ones, red ones. And if you're in blue, we put a little blue sticker on the left front headlight. And as you roll out of registration, you come to our first parking guy and he goes, blue, that way, red, that way. And we have 2 rows that funnel it. So they know where they're going to get parked. And then they have maps. I mean, we have the street GPSed to, I know how many cars to the car will fit between this crosswalk and that crosswalk.
How did you do that? Just GPS?
We used Google Maps to get a rough idea. And then we actually have a wheel counter, like using construction, that does it. And our parking crews have one guy at the back, because we park 2 crews and each crew parks 2 sides of the road at a 45-degree angle. As the car comes in, we have one guy at the front going like that, one guy at the back, and there's a guy with a wheel counter that goes from, if you're parking at an angle, your right rear bumper, he will measure off 11 feet, and it's right rear bumper, right rear bumper, right rear bumper, 11 foot from end to end. So when I say I have 15 cars between this crosswalk and that crosswalk, Brianna, sell me 15. I have 15 and I can't fit one more car in that show. Wow. So that I make every dollar possible.
The other advantage
blow on our just, spend on the community. So we have it down to the foot, realistically.
But we all know that a 55 Chevy is not the same length as like a limousine or an RV. So if you get those big old boats that come in there, you know that they're going to be bigger than 11 feet. The nice thing with this is that you know where all your big cars are. So I do print up a list beforehand when we do our parking walkthrough, and I let all of the makes, models, and years, I hand those over to my parking crew so they know where all my boats are.
Yeah. And we can manipulate it. Surprised me, 2 days before the show this year, or 3 days, I was having a parking meeting with our parking lead in the cruise, and she goes, you have 2 motorhomes. and a bus. And I looked at her, I go, what the heck are you talking about? Like, they were vintage motorhomes and a bus. So because right there on my phone, I have the maps and she can tell me when they registered, this is what it is. I can then look and be like, okay, that thing's 12 feet long or 21 feet long. We then went, hey, one of our streets parks nose to tail instead of at a 45. So Brianna sends them a thing going, hey, you guys are in group red. So I told the parking crew, they're in red. So when they're in red, they pull in nose to tail, and we can automatically now look at my map and go, 16 cars fit on this one street nose to tail at 11 feet. You got 2 buses that are double the size, deduct 3 cars because we know the actual lengths of the street, and I can manipulate the parking before the cars even show up. Because of this process, she knows every car that's coming, and I can make them have an email, know where to park them. I can then go to my parking crew and be like, I want these guys in these spots. And it makes it so there's no guessing.
Yeah, it doesn't
Okay,
sound
so
like
I gotta ask this one question. So is it just Brianna and my cousin are really smart, or is it this Eventbrite really help you out this much to figure this out?
We have 9 people on the board that put this show on. There's head of registration, there's head of logistics, which is all the signs and everything that goes downtown to get the cars in. There's head of parking. I mean, we have it all broke down to where everybody is the head of what they're in charge of. And then I think we had 280 something volunteers working from 5 a.m. till 8. So, I mean, it takes a big village, but the brains is sitting there talking to you on that other screen that is able to put this all on our phone. So that, I mean, like I told her when we redid it, I'm like, this is a vision I have in my head. You figure out how to make it actually work. And because this is what she does, we found a way. It just helps you be able to double check yourself. You can say, hey, this many cars, I want this. You got to do the legwork. We had to go downtown, and me, Brianna, Greg, our vice president, we took walking wheels and we measured all of downtown Petaluma. I knew where the show was, and we've actually done, we have a drive that all of our board members can log on to, and all our information is logged on this drive. All our car entries, all our maps, all our everything, so that everybody who's in charge of each facet of this can look and see all our data. So like I have our parking crew, I know how many cars will fit in which of those colors. Well, I'm just that way. I want the show to grow, right? So I have the next 3 blocks that we're not allowed to have yet. I have those next 3 blocks measured out. So as soon as the city of Petaluma, which they've done now for next year, goes, hey, you want to put 1,000 cars on that back street? I'll give you 4 more blocks over there. I can look at Brown and go, 4 more blocks is this amount of feet. That means you can give me another 320 cars. And I know to the car. Well, yeah, we're not there, but we know ahead of time because of a process like this, that by me adding this one street, she now can enter 60 more cars. On that one, it just helps you know for when you're growing, when you're doing anything, it helps you just keep track of everything better. You have real information. I can go back to her and be like, hey, I walked to the show right after we park, which I do every year. I walk the entire event and go, Rana, we had 2 blocks that didn't park this year. And she can be like, you're right. And then I can look at her numbers and be like, that should be 100 cars that didn't show up. You're telling me only 70 showed up. The numbers aren't adding up. So now I go to the parking crew and be like, did you guys park them closer than you're supposed to? I know it's not a math issue. They parked them too close. Well, then we looked at it and went, hey, the parking looked pretty good. Now I can park even more cars next year as long as you guys do that. So it just helps you double check yourself. Gotcha. Because you'd be guessing how many didn't show up to where I know that street should have gave me this amount of cars, and she can tell you live, hey, 72 cars didn't show up today. You know, I got paid for 72 cars. We didn't have to park because we're a non-refund show, which if you do it early enough, she's been refunding people. But you can just keep all this data in track. How many times? I mean, we do a cool thing. she's real techie in that, but we have a big map hanging on the side of our trailer. That's the United States. And she'll put in each state how many cars, put a number, and that
Jesus,
represents
really?
how many cars she put there that day. So I know, hey, I got 86 cars from California. I got 20 from Nevada. I got 3 from Florida. And when you go to check in that morning, you can see a big map and be like, oh, look, there's my
That's
state.
pretty
Hey.
cool. I bet
So,
that has a lot of weight for.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
it's all about tracking, because for us, for me, it's all about promoting the show for next year. Because the more cars I can pack downtown, the more sponsors I get paying me, which is more scholarships I can do. We buy AEDs. We've bought over 150 defibrillators and placed them all over the community. So if you have a heart attack in one of our rec centers, we got an AED that Cruising the Boulevard has bought sitting there. We do work scholarships. We have kids that we send to trade school, and when they come back, they want to be a body shop guy.
Yeah.
Well, it's hard to learn. So we just started this new deal where I have contracts with local shops that you're going to graduate school. I got a job for you waiting, and you're going to get this amount of money to start. As you check off my little boxes in automotive, in trades, you know, you have to buy tools to do your job, which is hard for a kid right out of school. You meet our boxes in every 3 months. We're actually buying tools for you as bonuses as you're doing it. And then at the end of the 3-year program, you get to keep all your tools. So this all takes money. So her being able to do this means I can make the show bigger every year. I can promote, hey, I got 5 states that or 5 countries that showed up last year, 20 states entered, and 63,000 people that walked through downtown. Oh, really? And you did all this for kids? My shop's going to give you 20 grand. Or I want to donate. We put our, we have a big pamphlet, you know, with all everybody's ads in it. We blast that online. So the bigger we can keep track of all this stuff, the more promoting we can do and the more money we can make.
Brilliant. That's really good. Yeah.
So 2 things that I'll add to that also. You can
Brianna, I had a
add
question.
tickets or deduct tickets live. So once you publish, you aren't stuck with that. You can shut tickets on and off as you see fit. So Brian comes up to me this last year and says, hey, I got 20 more spots to add to our yellow zone. Can you do it? Oh yeah, I can. And so that opened up our wait list. So the other thing that Eventbrite lets you do is wait list. So if you sell out, then people add on, you know, car's going to break down, somebody's going to back out. And that's how I've been able to refund people. So we are a no refund show, but if I can backfill somebody, I will, because, you know, ultimately I want people to have a good experience with us. And I see those people come back again. I know who those people are.
Yeah, that's good. Really good, guys.
Eventbrite does that for you. Once you're sold out, there's a wait list. And because you filled out the wait list, I now have your phone number, your email address, your car, everything. So Brianna goes, oh, this guy canceled. Hit the button on the wait list. An email goes out to that guy. Congratulations. You're in the show, and it's all in real time.
But you can manually control that too.
You can manually do it. And we'll shut spots off. Like blue, say, is our prime zone. There's 60 spots. That normally sells out within a day, day and a half. Our top 2 spots of 140 cars will be sold out by probably 10 in the morning when we start selling at midnight. They're that valuable.
Easily.
Wow.
But we have some of our sponsor levels that if you're a $2,000 sponsor, you get a free car entry. Well, most of our big boys that want to give you, you know, 2, 5 grand, 10 grand, they want to be in blue. Well, if they gave me a sponsorship 3 weeks after we're sold out, you can't get them in blue because you're sold out. So what I'll go back in, and me and Brianna will talk daily, and I'll be like, hey, I'm working 2 sponsors. I know they have cars. When you put blue for sale, hold 4 of them back. So instead of 60, there's 4 of them that don't show up to the general public. So then I don't have to say, hey, thanks for the $5,000, but I can't get you in blue. I can then tell her, release 1 to this guy, and he gets a spot. And at the end of the show, or end of our sponsorship, we have a window because I have to have the programs made. I can't take sponsors right up to it. I'll go to Brown and be like, hey, we're done collecting sponsors. And she'll go, Brian, I have 2 blues, a red, and 3 yellows. Cool. Hit open again, and it pulls them right off the wait list and sells those spots. So
Wow.
you're not hurting yourself. You're
And
holding
you have
them.
promo codes. You can also
Yeah, and we have promo codes. That's the
course.
other key with Eventbrite is I can go to a sponsor that wants to register himself and say, we'll say Acculine is a wheel and brake shop in town. He's a sponsor. We tell him, hey, Accu24 is your promo code. He goes in, he types in Accu24. It makes it to where he doesn't have to pay for his entry because his came with his sponsorship. So now we don't have to do anything. He can register his car, and when it says checkout, he puts in his promo code, and it's done. Or we'll use it for some of our VIPs. We'll have a VIP whatever promo code, and she can set it through Eventbrite. You're allowed to have 20 VIP people come. Well, as soon as 20 people sign up under VIP, it locks it out. So now it's not giving away any more free ones. So you can break it down into as many promo codes as you want, and you didn't have to do anything. All you simply had to do was pick up the phone and say, hey, your entry's covered. Here's your promo code. Thanks for the sponsorship or thanks for a donation, and it's all done.
Does it also work for vendors? Can you get vendors to pay through that?
You can have vendors pay for that. You just have to set up, a vendor spot's $300. And that'll come up to, like I said earlier, where you can click on car entry, dinner ticket, or what it would just be vendor spot.
Gotcha.
And the key with that is you can control the number. So if you want 10 vendors to come and you don't have room for more, you only set Eventbrite to 10 vendor spot. So once the 10th guy signs up, you didn't have to talk to anybody. It says, hey, sorry, show's sold out, no more vendors. Their money's in your account, all their information's there, and you didn't have to answer a phone.
That's cool.
Or if you don't like one of the vendors that signed up, you can kick back their entry and open it back up. So.
Yeah, totally.
When is your show?
Third weekend in May is the American Graffiti Show. So this year that's going to be what, 15, 16, 17, I think, of next year.
Yep. It's usually during spring fever here in Reno.
Okay. So the 15th through the 18th, you said, or 15th to the 17th?
I believe it's 15 through 17. I gotta have to look at a map, but it's
Well, just go to your cell phone, look at eBay.
I'm right here. I got it right here. So it's Thursday through Saturday.
Thursday through Saturday, yeah.
Okay, so it's the 15th through the 17th.
Yeah, Thursday night is our dinner. And then Friday at a different spot downtown, we host what's called a cruise in. We have some vendors. We have our music booth set up, and it's totally free. You don't pay. Anybody's welcome. You don't even register. You just show up and have a good time.
Okay, the dinner on Thursday night. Do you have to register a car to go to the dinner?
Nope. Just buy a ticket.
Just buy a ticket. How much are the tickets?
Same price, $65.
Yeah, 65
for the dinner.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Beer, wine, barbecue chicken. We have a catering company that's a high.
What do you do on Friday?
Friday at 3:00, we have a cruise in down at the old Kmart shopping center. We don't sell tickets to it. It's open to anybody. You can come enter that, even if you're not going to be in the show on Saturday.
Okay.
Our t-shirt vendors are there. We have a DJ there. We park some of the car clubs, but basically, besides that, we don't have too much to do with it. It's just kind of a good old-fashioned cruise in.
They take over that whole parking lot, Al.
Yeah. What do you call the show?
Petaluma Salute to American Graffiti. That's Saturday. Yeah, and then like Friday, we do a big thing where, we award all our scholarships Friday night at the Kmart event. And then it normally wraps up about 8:00. Everybody goes home, and then we hit downtown at 3 a.m. to start setting up Saturday. And first car gets parked at 6:00, and you're normally out of there about 6:00 that night when the cruise is over.
Awards presentation?
Awards happens during the show. So cars start getting parked at 6. Our official start time downtown is normally around 10:30. We bumped it up to 10 this year. National anthem gets played. That's the official kickoff. The way our awards goes is we don't have judges and we don't give out awards. If you are one of our sponsors, which this year we had 42 sponsors, any sponsor over the $500 marker gets a trophy sponsorship, it's called. Or if you don't want to be over that, you can just pay $115 donation for a trophy. We make a real nice trophy with your company's logo on it or family name, however you want. Between 12 and 1 o'clock, you come to downtown where our main trailer is. All the trophies are there. We hand you your trophy. You walk the show and you give it to whichever car you want to. So all of our sponsors and their own. Yeah. So you can't say that I like one thing more than the other. Joe Blow, that is a sponsor that owns this company, might go, hey, this car reminds me of when I was in high school, or grandma had one. That's my winner. All of our sponsors hand out their own trophies. We do not have anything to do with it.
So it's not a big fall for all awards presentation.
Nope. It happens during the show. And if you're not there, the sponsor will then come back to me at the main trailer and be like, Brian, this is the car I want to give it to. I can't find the guy. Well, guess what? I pull out my cell phone. I look at where he's parked. I get on Eventbrite. I get his cell phone number and I go, dude, go stand by your car. And he goes, why? And I just do it. And he goes and stands by his car and somebody.
Are you guys snapping shots with a trophy or no?
So I love that you asked that question.
Yeah, that's automated too.
New this year, we have Google Forms, and it's just a QR code. Looks like something like this, and you just scan it, or you can email us and submit the photos, who you are, why you picked it, and now I have all that information. And unfortunately for this meeting, I can't show it to you on our website, but it's all going up on our website with pictures. And
it's instant. So say Kevin comes down and says, hey, he's a sponsor this year at 1 o'clock. He shows up and goes, Brian, I know which car I want. I hand him a trophy. He goes and gives it to Joe Blow with the 69 Camaro. He goes, congratulations, you won the trophy from Northern Nevada Classics. Here we go. And you take a picture with him because of Brianna's QR code. You now scan the QR code, take the picture with your phone. It's automatic to us. So it's automatically to our phones now. So I can instantly upload that minute to our Facebook page, the picture of Kevin and the winner saying Northern Nevada awards John whatever in his 69 Camaro at this year's show. You get PR. The guy gets his picture on the website. Everything's automated right away. By the time you walk out of there, your picture's already online.
That cool. Package comes with Google. Google is free. Create an account for your club with the Gmail, and then you get all of that suite for free.
Okay.
It's just one less thing you got to do. Now you don't have to try to get everybody around a trailer.
Wonderful.
To where you're trying to hand out trophies. You're not getting told, hey, you know, how come the 4 cars that are $200,000 cars won the damn trophies? I had nothing to do with it. Sorry. Our sponsors paid the trophies, especially for me. We build cars. Most of the cars at a lot of the shows come out of my shop. And the last thing I want is one of my guys to win a trophy and somebody else not to. And then you're the guy in charge of this shit. Sorry.
Yeah, the last thing.
It's just another way that she made this automated that saves us politically, and it makes
very
it
transparent.
Yeah, it's done. It's over with.
Yeah,
it's all right.
And holy crap, we need that.
Yeah,
boy, do we! And you know, we got 10 months to get this together.
Yeah.
I mean, we are. This year is going to change the awards side a little bit because you guys probably know he's on the board of directors for Hot August Nights, Big Daddy. He's got a Mustang shop.
Yep.
Who is it, Kevin?
I know. He's got a badass black Mustang. Big Daddy, I know who he is.
Big Daddy's Customs or something. He's the California representative on the board of directors for Hot August Nights.
Yeah. He's working with Danny Dotson.
They came to our event this year and tried to sign us up for the Hot August Night Summer Series. where I guess if you buy the little sticker for your window and you win one of their,
Right.
Yeah.
well, we're going to be that next year. And I told him politically, I'm out of it. I'm fine being an event for you guys, but you're sending somebody to pick that winner. So that one car will have a Big Daddy trophy to give out. I told him his company has to sponsor it. But yeah, we're not going to pick the qualifier for Hot August Nights. So that's another way we can not look like I'm sending all our customers to Hot August Nights.
Yeah, good point.
Well,
Good. God, a lot of good stuff, man.
I need to go
It's
get
a lot
some.
to do your first year, but it's well worth it.
I need to go get some duct tape on and wrap my head because it's about to explode.
Uh,
But
You
I'll
got
tell
this,
you
Ed.
what, this has been some very good information.
Absolutely.
And my question is Brianna, how much do you charge?
You know, I'm a sucker for a good cup of coffee and a nice conversation.
Oh, hot dancing then.
we can do that in Lake Tahoe.
We meet
We're not that far from Lake Tahoe.
We meet every Thursday morning at Kim's Donuts. There's a group of car guys that go down there. We usually have between 30 and 40 cars down there.
Hey, Dennis, I would suggest that you keep Brianna and Brian's email address
And
Yeah,
on speed dial.
for their
definitely.
information.
I'm a little hesitant to throw this out to the coalition at this point. I don't know. It's just a lot of stuff here. But that's something we as a board should discuss. And I don't know if the two of you, Brian and Brianna, if we did decide to put it out to the coalition, like Kevin said, which is 1,100 members strong, we always tape our meetings and we put it out and let anybody who wants to look at it's in the coalition look at it. Are you guys okay if we decide somewhere, and Kevin would call you first, if we wanted to post this on the coalition page for other car clubs to, I was just thinking about the Eventbrite part of it, but you guys have added so much more.
Yeah.
Would you be okay if we went public with it to our coalition? And you can say no to.
Yeah, I'm fine on my end if Brianna's fine on hers.
I'm fine. Just please ask
Okay.
somebody to call me. Some of my personal details are in there.
I don't think that we want to do it right immediately because we usually do it pretty quick after the meeting. We post it real quick. My wife does that for me, but we'll discuss it and I'll make sure that Kevin talks to you guys if we do it before we actually go public.
Yeah.
Well, I think they're agreeing to it. So, and I be honest with you, I think it's great information for any other car club that's looking for to be a little more organized with their events and registration. So
exactly.
I think it's great information to put out there, Dennis. I really do. And if Brian and Brianna think it's okay to put it out there, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't.
Yeah, benefit every club.
Act big, you know.
All right, I mean? let me get a quorum here. Tim, yes or no?
Yep.
Okay. Alan, Vicky?
Yeah, I'm good.
Yep. Okay. Rich? Roy?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, then it's going to be posted up there. You should be part of that Nevada Car Coalition. Just go up there, Nevada Car Coalition on Facebook, join, and Kevin will let you in. Then you can see the stuff that we do.
Nice.
Not that
Add
you need
one
any more
more thing.
stuff, but it's kind of fun. It's kind of a fun place. So, all right, anybody more questions for them?
One more thing real quick. I bought some Eventbrite tickets for a car show and they charged, the fees on that instead of the car show people paying for it. Is that normal or?
So you guys get to make that call. So the decision of our group was we actually absorb the fees when you purchase. However, if you do end up getting a refund from us, we only refund the cost less the fees. So we'll absorb the cost of the fee. So it'll only look like $65 when you check out. It's a round number.
Yeah,
But we are paying that it's about $580 or something like that.
Yeah.
That we do pay to Eventbrite. So when we get our invoices in, it's really important that we have that full breakdown because it's not nice even numbers. It shows us how much we've paid out for each part. And then if a refund happens, we let them know, look, Eventbrite takes this much money from us. We're giving you back that amount minus.
fees, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we absorb that.
And Rich, did I skip you about the A-OK? Oh, okay.
It was okay.
All right. Okay, well, the last question I have for you guys, if nobody else has questions, if once we start this process, if we need some, like a training session kind of thing or a question and answer thing, could we go do this Zoom again somewhere in the future? Not that we'd be bugging you more than once a week.
I can do the question and answer, and she can do the teaching. Because
Okay. Good.
I know how to use it. I couldn't tell you how to set it up. It's above my pay grade.
All right. Well, I guess we'll see you next Monday.
So I have two quick things. First and foremost, Vicki and I will be at your show next year,
Beautiful.
but only as spectators. We're going to come check out how you do your thing. And two, thank you guys for coming on and doing this.
No problem at all.
Yeah,
This
you
was
guys
great.
came off really, really, really good. A lot of good information here.
There's a lot to it, and it's a big undertaking the first year, but the juice is worth the squeeze, as they say.
It makes you more money. It makes you more money for whatever you're donating it to. I can
And it
see
lets
it.
one person do what 10 would normally do.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Lets you keep your hair. You're not pulling your
Yeah.
hair out all
So,
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Brianna. I appreciate your time and coming on with us, and thank you, cuz. Appreciate you. Love you, man.
Well,
All right, guys. Thank you so much. We're gonna stop the recording now, and the sponsors stay, or the board stay on. We've got a couple more things. Yes, thank you so much, Brianna. Brian, thanks, buddy.
Thanks, guys.
you got it.
Come
You guys
down.
have a good night.
We're gonna come down and see you.
You got it, and we'll see you guys here in 2 weeks now.
All righty. Thanks very much.
See you guys soon.
Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.